APC NEC backs Ganduje leadership with vote of confidence. George rejects Emefiele's plea to halt trial. 4 herders dead to critical after eating poisoned fish in Taraba. On the foreign scene, Israel-Hamas strike deal on return of 4 captive bodies. Good evening. This is News Update on Trust TV. I am Chiamaka Nwafo. Thank you for joining us. The National Executive Committee of the All Progressives Congress has reaffirmed its confidence in the Abdullahi Ganduje-led leadership despite internal discontent and criticism from some party members, including former Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai. President Bola Tinubu and Vice President Kashim Shettima attended both the party's caucus and NEC meetings, where Ganduje's leadership was credited for APC's recent electoral successes, including victories in off-cycle elections. With the APC grappling with both internal discord and external pressures fueled by economic hardship, the 2 high-stakes meetings, coming 18 months into the Tinubu administration, are seen as a crucial step in addressing party concerns and solidifying a united front ahead of the 2027 elections.
The National Working Committee is doing a very good job, and I'm just happy with them. And I feel that you should be happy with them too. Yes, a little conflict in various states. Let's set up any committee of our size to look into lingering problems in some states. Appeal to these party leaders in various states to please be calm, be collaborative. We can only build that party on a progressive platform to deliver tonight, including your constituency. Thank you very much.
Meanwhile, the national chairman of the All Progressives Congress APC, Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, has disclosed that the party's National Working Committee, NWC, under his leadership, inherited a debt burden of 8.9 billion naira. Ganduje revealed this in Abuja while speaking at the ongoing National Executive Committee NEC meeting of the APC. According to him, the expenses were incurred during pre-election legal battles, election cases, and appeals for legislative, governorship and presidential elections. However, noted that the National Legal Advisor, Abdul Karim Kana, SAN, has been working to reduce the debt burden. Still with APC, but in Rivers State, the party has denied claims that 27 lawmakers from the Rivers State House of Assembly, led by Martin Amewule, defected to the party on December 11, 2023. The APC chairman in Rivers State, Tony Okocha, clarified this during a press briefing after a party meeting in Port Harcourt. Okocha stated that the event at the Port Harcourt Polo Club in December 2023 was not a reception for the lawmakers but a celebration of the new APC State Executive Council. While emphasizing that he invited the lawmakers as friends, not as assembly members, Okocha also accused Governor Fubara of ignoring a court order to represent the 2024 budget to the Amewule-led assembly, calling it dictatorial. The chairman announced that the APC will start an e-registration process to verify its members as directed by the party's national leaders.
We are disenchanted with the disrespect to the rule of law by the governor of Rivers State, His Excellency Sirinalaye Fubara. We wondered how he picks and chooses. When a matter is convenient for him, he will take. He will immediately start implementing. But when there is a clog and that he feels not comfortable, he will refuse to obey. Are we in Banana Republic? It is not about strongman morality. We are talking about the rule of law. The 27 assembly members, led by Right Honorable Martins Chike Amewule, never defected to the All Progressives Congress. We were the one that were approaching assembly members to join APC.
As governments and organizations and other key stakeholders explore ways of addressing climate change impact, stakeholders in Nigeria have joined such efforts through the Climate Action Index CAI initiative. The initiative is a project designed to assess and track the climate action efforts of different entities, usually at the state or local government level, and evaluating their policies, programs, and progress towards achieving climate goals. In this report, Noor Sampson speaks to stakeholders on the methodologies in the CAI framework and its effectiveness.
A strong CAI score can potentially attract more climate finance from investors and development partners who prioritize regions with robust climate governance. The development and implementation of a CAI often involves collaboration with various stakeholders, government agencies, civil society organizations, research institutions.
Yeah, I think the framework adopted by the CIA is quite robust, particularly in the context of being anchored on a theory of change, which then proceeds from the fact that there's a problem in terms of the impact of climate change, impact on economy, impact on environment, impact on livelihood, and by implication, impact on security.
The CAI initiative in Nigeria is being used to assess the climate actions of different states, highlighting areas where improvements are needed and identifying potential issues related to corruption in climate funding allocation. With this, the CAI helps to assess and rank subnational climate efforts and provide room on how the CAI's structure can be redefined to ensure effectiveness and acceptance.
I think there's a lot that can be done, particularly since this is at the stages of infancy, and so people can make a lot of contributions. Some of the things I've seen and I've also shared with them is the necessity for them to introduce the fourth pillar. In fact, even by logic, something that rests on a four pillar is much more comfortable and strong than something that rests on a three pillar. So I talked about the whole idea of introducing what I call the targeted impact, because the overall essence of trying to develop this kind of measurement tool is to influence change, is to influence behavior, and to influence policy, so that the positive outcome will be realized.
So the Climate Action Index just helps us to measure and quantify what's actually going on the subnational level, the state and local government level, in terms of climate action, in terms of spending, in terms of the transparency of the outcomes. So ask me again in 1 year after we've finished this ranking.
All right. You only measure effectiveness after a while. Right now, we're just bringing out the methodology and assessment and the results of how the subnationals have done, what they have done. Subnationals, I'm talking about states and local governments. So you find out effectiveness after a while. Now, when we release the report, we will tell them what their scores are. I'm hoping that they take action, because you cannot improve what you cannot measure.
A climate action index is important because it provides a standardized way to measure and compare the climate change mitigation efforts of different countries, companies, or regions, thereby highlighting areas where progress is being made and where more action is needed, encouraging greater transparency and accountability in climate policy and driving investment towards sustainable practices. Noor Sampson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Over in Lagos State, the Special Offences Court has refused to stop hearing the corruption allegations made against the former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele. Justice Rahman Ushodi, in his ruling on Wednesday, dismissed a request for him to recuse himself from the trial, stating that the allegations of bias against him were unsubstantiated. Citing a range of legal authorities, the court held that judicial bias is insufficient to justify disqualification or recusal, arguing that it must be personal or based on some judicial reasoning. The judge subsequently held that the application for his recusal lacked merit and promptly refused it. At the last sitting of the court on Monday, Emefiele, through his lead counsel, Olaliko Ojo, SAN, had requested that Justice Oshodi step down from the proceedings. The council argued that by allowing the prosecution ask a leading question the defense had previously objected to, the judge had made it impossible for the defense to fairly cross-examine the witness. The security matters. Gunmen suspected to be kidnappers have killed 2 police officers during a forward kidnapping operation around Little Rayfield community of Jos South local government area of Plateau State. Spokesperson of the State Police Command, DSP Alabo Alfred, who confirmed the incident to News 1 in Jos, stated that 4 suspects have been arrested in connection with the abduction attempt. Residents of Little Rayfield reported that at about 9 p.m. on Tuesday, sounds of gunshots were heard in the area. According to DSP Alfred, the slain police officers were on special duty in the state from Abuja. The chairman of Tekum Local Government Area Council in Taraba State, John Ali, has revealed that 4 persons from Kashimbila ward of the local government area have died, while 2 others were hospitalized after eating a meal cooked with suspected poisonous fish. Ali said the death of the 4 herders was alarming, given that 2 others were still battling for survival in an undisclosed hospital. The incident reportedly happened on February 22nd near a community close to Kashimbila Multipurpose Dam. The herders, who are identified as Abdul Juli, Sule Abubakar, Adamu Mato, Saidu Payu, Yusuf Musa, and Ibrahim Haruna, while grazing with their cows, found an abandoned fish at the bank of Kashimbila River, which they picked and cooked for a meal. The local government chairman, while briefing newsmen on the incident, disclosed that the victims did not know the difference between an edible and non-edible fish, adding that as a result, they cooked the poisonous fish, which resulted in the death of 4 persons. He said the fish is identified in local parlance as frog fish, adding that the species is so poisonous that other species that cannot contact the frog. The Minister of Defense, Muhammad Baduru Abubakar, has assured Nigerians that the federal government and security agencies are making every effort to ensure their safety. Speaking in Kaduna during a pre-Ramadan meeting organized by the Supreme Council for Sharia in Nigeria, the minister acknowledged the numerous security challenges facing the nation. Here's more in this report.
It's a meeting of Islamic clerics from across the length and breadth of Nigeria who conduct tafsir in the holy month of Ramadan to promote peace and unity among Muslims and non-Muslims. The meeting also seeks to discuss challenges faced by Muslims with a view to addressing them by uniting the Ummah. The Minister of Defense, Muhammad Baduru, while addressing the clerics, acknowledged that ultimate protection comes from God, but emphasized government's commitment to improving the security situation in the country. He noted that security has already improved across many areas and urged the Islamic scholars present at the meeting to continue praying for the nation's stability and leadership.
Well, you have seen that the security is improving, and it's only Allah that can give assurance. But I will tell you, we will do our best to make sure people are secured.
The President of the Supreme Council, Sheikh Abdul Rashid Hadiyatullah, emphasized the need for religious tolerance. He assured that the Council would continue to contribute towards building a prosperous nation that is economically, socially, educationally, and politically viable. He also called on the ulamas to guide Muslims community, particularly during the month of Ramadan.
The Ummah looks up to us for guidance and assurances that their faith will not be sacrificed on the altar of political opportunism and greed. Today, many Muslims are being encouraged to think they have been betrayed to vote for this administration. It is our task to assure them that our intentions and goals were honest and products of deep faith and fear of the punishment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Several speakers at the event urged imams and Islamic scholars to promote peace in their sermons during and after the Ramadan period. Bella Musa, Trust TV News Kaduna.
You're still on to News Update on Trust TV. Still to come. Northeast pushes for growth in agriculture, solid minerals. More when we return. Please do stay with us. Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. Now a recap of our top stories. We told you that APC NEC backs Ganduje leadership with vote of confidence. We also informed you that judge rejects Emefiele's plea to hold trial. Two more stories. The Nigerian Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, NSCIA, has recommended the passage of tax reform bills before the National Assembly and expressed its commitment to constructive engagement in national policy formulation and legislative reforms. The apex Islamic body in Nigeria, under the leadership of its Presidential General and Sultan of Sokoto, Muhammad Sa'ad Abubakar III, made the recommendation in its memorandum presented at the public hearing of the tax reform bills by the Senate Committee on Finance. It was presented by the NSCIA's head legal unit, Harun Eze, who doubles as one of the imams of the National Mosque in Abuja. The tax reform bills have generated heated debates across the country, with the majority of the pushbacks coming from the north. Many governors and some leaders from the region contested that the tax reform bills, which had also led to open confrontations in both chambers of the National Assembly, was meant to favor Lagos State and other narrow interests, as well as to shortchange the north. However, the NSCIA in the memorandum said it only got to know about the public hearing through media items on Monday, February 24, and was making its recommendations considering the importance of the bills in question to Nigerians, particularly the Muslim Ummah. The need to bridge the gap in agriculture and solid mineral value chain development was the focus of the recently held 2025 Northeast African Mineral Summit and exhibition in Adamawa State. The summit was, among other things, to enhance grassroots productivity, promote equitable investment sharing, encourage participation in export trade, and facilitate capacity building amongst stakeholders. Trust TV's Gibson Swadigo tells us more in this report.
In light of the prevailing insecurity in northeastern Nigeria, which has significantly disrupted economic activities, the Nigerian Association of Solid Minerals, in collaboration with African Mineral Rating and Exchange and Adamawa State government, organized this summit to motivate the local population to engage in ventures within the solid minerals sector. The project is also designed to build individuals' capacities, enabling them to restore their financial stability while actively participating in productivity and inclusion within the value chain. This collaborative approach fosters diverse socio-economic activities contributing to the recovery of the local economy. The chairman of the occasion, Professor Bashir Aliyu, said the summit is an urgent call to action for all Nigerians to capitalize on the nation's abundant mineral resources for economic advancement.
The only leverage we have or advantage we have in the Northeast is agricultural resource and mineral resource. We need to have an interface between these two major areas in order to make the best use. We need to have a sustainable, means of tapping the resource, both the agricultural and the mineral. Unless if we converge here with professionals that know how to, we may either do it the wrong way or we will not maximize the potential that we have.
Dr. John Y. Parker, in presentation on solid minerals and agriculture value chain, introduced participants to the grassroots economic model development.
The unfortunate aspect of it is that, let me say 90% of indigenes of Adamawa State, they don't know much or they don't even know anything about solid mineral. We don't know the viability of what we have. It's unfortunate that we are farming on wealth, we are farming on capital, we are farming on resources. There's no single reason for somebody in Adamawa State to be poor. for any reason, because the level of mineralogy in our ground in Adamawa State is enough to enrich everybody.
Governor Ahmad Barfentry of Adamawa State, represented by Ishaya Dapari, announced that the state government has formalized a memorandum of understanding with investors interested in exploring the mineral resources in the region.
We know that Adamawa is rich in natural resources, including agriculture and mineral resources. But the level of exploitation for the benefit of the state is very low. So this summit creates serious awareness for the citizens of Adamawa to really explore this opportunity of investing in mineral resources.
The summit concluded with an exhibition, networking opportunities, and a question and answer session featuring the keynote speakers. Gibson Soadugo, Trust TV News, Yola.
Away from Nigeria, Hamas says it has reached a deal with mediators on the handover of the 620 Palestinian prisoners who were due to be freed by Israel last week, and an equivalent number of women and children detained in Gaza since the war began. Israel has confirmed the agreement without giving details. Hamas allied group Al-Nasir Salah al-Din Brigades says the body of Israeli captive Ohad Yahalomi is one of the four set for a handover in Gaza. UN spokesperson Stefan Dujarric urged Israel to allow more tents and shelters into the Gaza Strip after 6 Palestinian infants died from hypothermia during a severe cold spell. Gaza's health ministry has confirmed 48,348 Palestinian deaths in Israel's war on Gaza, while 111,761 people have been wounded. The government's media office updated its death toll to at least 61,709, saying thousands of Palestinians missing under the rubble are presumed dead. In the sports scene, Argentina and Inter Miami captain Lionel Messi has been fined an undisclosed amount by the Major League Soccer MLS for grabbing the neck of an opposition coach during a league match on Saturday. The MLS disciplinary committee took the decision to fine Inter Miami forward Messi, 37, following an incident at the end of Inter Miami's 2-2 draw with New York City FC. The 8-time Ballon d'Or winner was seen approaching New York City's assistant coach Mehdi Bellucci and put his hand on the back of his neck. The Argentine's altercation with Bellucci took place shortly after the former had an argument with the referee that earned him a yellow card for dissent. Teammate Luis Suarez was also fined for violating the same MLS policy after he pinched the back of opposing player Burke Reese's neck in an incident at halftime. That concludes news updates at this time. For more of our news programs and documentaries, to follow us on our social media platforms and on our YouTube live stream. I am Shamaka Mwafo. Thanks for joining us at this time. Good evening.